What is up, gamers? Welcome to Fnaf, the only channel psycho enough to call Freddy and Bonnie gay. Now, instead of animating, I decided to play some Fnaf because I have a pretty hefty episode for y'all today. I like to think, and that is the secret behind Fnaf World. A great reason why we believe there's something there to begin with is because there's this little fun Easter egg that if you play Fnaf Ultimate Custom Night, get the Old Man Consequences Easter egg, and then boot up Fnaf World, it actually shows um, the little badge that you would have otherwise gotten if you went a couple of layers too deep, which is our first reason behind the fact there's actually something there. But what is going on there? Well, um, I personally, and this is gonna sound a little crazy, but I feel as if Old Man Consequences is actually Michael. A little crazy, I know, I sound more deranged than usual, but the reason why I think this is because if you look at all the animatronics in Ultimate Custom Night and in FNAF World, you notice that Nightmare and Amber February are in both of them, which typically, to the average normal man, doesn't necessarily make obviously duh, there's just another animatronic, until you realize that them and technically all of the animatronics are never really seen by anyone else besides Michael due to the hallucinatory gas that William puts on Michael. Um, what is it? A really good rebuttal to this is that maybe William designed the things, but also I really don't think William would be Old Man Consequences for one, and second, what is it? Gym number one, um, not again their word is not law, but a really good explanation that they made is that it doesn't necessarily just make normal fears like teeth and stuff like that, just all the things that's not really how that would work. It's more so it reflects the fears of the person it's being tested on, aka Michael, due to the stomach teeth that they have. Another really good piece of evidence behind this is the idea that not only both FNAF World and FNAF 6 are connected, um, like surprisingly a lot. Not only do they contain Old Man Consequences, which frankly are the only two they're the only two games that actually contain him, which really says a whole lot. And second of all, God, hold on. Sorry, I'm doing this all in one take, so I might be a little iffy. And also, I am playing. Yes, I am playing this FNAF in real time, and I'm absolutely owning. Anyway, I lost track of what I was saying. What was I saying? I'm kidding. Mr. Line. God, hold on, I gotta turn on the volume so I don't get distracted by Toy Chica. Another really good reason behind why we think that Michael is Old Man Consequences is because he's so casual around the spirits, and also there's no really set identity for him, honestly, which is really frankly concerning if anything. The fact that there's no identity of who the Old Man Consequence is, who presumably is also the Old King in Princess Quest. And if there's any spirits left, it would probably either be Charlie or it would be Michael. And I feel that again, it wouldn't make sense because the puppet's already a character in FNAF World, which yeah, that rules out the marionette entirely. So it would have to be Michael. It also can't be William, not only because why would William be talking to the missing children, but also he is also a character. And it can't be Scott or Steve, the game developer man. Because I guess technically you could say the game developer dude is representative of Adam dude. Scott's little blue avatar that Scott interprets himself as. One hit also, it's not that bad. Um, God, I lost my track. I lost track. Um, yeah. So yeah, it can't be Scott. It can't be the puppet master, as he says, and it can't really be anyone else besides Michael, just because everyone else is like already taken into account for. It is already included, which is why it would have to be Michael. Now, what does this imply? Why does it matter that Michael can is presumably um, old man consequences? Well, let me tell you a thing or two about a thing or two, right? Um, we also think, me and Jim number one, think that in some way, shape, or form, Michael is helping to either created or is keeping FNAF World and FNAF UCN alive. Now, let me explain what that means real quick. Um, in again, for FNAF World and FNAF UCN, they're both very similar in a way in which they're kind of like they both contain William, they both contain Old Man Consequences. But not only do they have like the connection that I don't know if I mentioned it in my first take or my second take, but there's an Easter egg where what is it? Where if you get the Old Man Consequences Easter egg in FNAF UCN, and you boot up FNAF World right afterwards, you get the badge as if you were to get the Old Man Consequences ending in FNAF World, which is very strange given the fact that Scott decided to code that in for no apparent reason. It's very, like, it just doesn't make sense. And also, in the movie, we also see a little rainbow, a very familiar rainbow friend, Chica's Magic Rainbow, which implies that FNAF World is still being talked about, but we don't know its significance in the lore yet. Either that or it's just funny Easter egg, or we're thinking about this too much. But when is anything just a coincidence in FNAF? Exactly. It's not. So, what does this imply? What does this mean? And better yet, how did Old Man Consequence? How do we know that Old Man Consequences just has this power? Well, what is it? I think it's Ultimate Custom Night, when you get the Old Man Consequences little secret, he tells, presumably the one you should not have killed, leave the demon to his demons, rest your soul, there is nothing else. Which we, over here at Jim FNAF, interpreted as, hey, you do not need to worry about William anymore. I will keep him here, and he will stay here, for all of eternity. You can rest your soul, while I keep on torturing him. I know it's very, like, it's very big stretch, but, when you, like, think about it, Old Man Consequences doesn't really, like, here's the thing, I think a really big confusion that many of the FNAF community has is that they think of Old Man Consequences similar to how they think of Puppet, like a spirit trying to have them move on. Old Man Consequences isn't likely that. He could be. He could very well be that. And also, the name Old Man Consequences, it doesn't sound like the puppet. Like, it would be like the puppet or like any other character like as the puppet. It can't really be a spirit that was murdered, or at the very least not at the same age as the MCI or the DCI. Which is why we're presumably thinking it's Michael, because assuming that he was like roughly a teenager in the 1980s, by the time William would have died in FNAF 6, Michael would have been like pretty old. Wait, hold on, let me do the math. So like, okay, so like it's like widely accepted that Michael's like 15, 14 in FNAF UCN. Oh, sorry, in FNAF 4. So if he's 15 in 1983, then he would be, assuming that FNAF 6 takes place in like 2020, like 2030, which is again widely accepted. and he would be at least like in his 50s. Especially considering the fact that he is a literal like rotting corpse, which can be interpreted as being old because your body's old, your husk, the thing that you used to have. That's the reasoning behind that. So again, why does it matter? Okay, so we figured. Okay, so far we have come to the conclusion that Old Man Consequences is both running UCN and presumably Fnaf World, and that he also is Michael Afton. Why would Michael want to keep his father in hell? I mean, again, widely accepted theory is that he just hated his father, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's more so, if you look back at our Mr. Hippo theory, you can see how Jim Fnaf interpreted Mr. Hippo as an excuse for him to talk to his father, a way to both torment him, either on purpose or accidentally, while also being able to talk to his father, talking about things like tea and lemonade and other things that he never really got to talk about his father with, due to him being mostly absent in this life, from my understanding. So because of that, he keeps William in this purgatory. Again, not necessarily by any malicious means, but more so as a way to be able to talk to him, as a way to be able to communicate with him, and just be able to just have a father when he didn't have that for most of his life. And that feels kind of fitting for Michael. Someone who just wants a dad. The absolute angst. Anyway, now that we've come to that conclusion, we can also, alright, so, a real question that I had when making this theory is, what is Fnaf World, like, in reality? What is Fnaf World? And surprisingly, I think I might have the answer for you. I think that Fnaf World is kind of a purgatory similar to that of Ultimate Custom Night. The reason why I think this is because how do I say it? It's because what is it? Obviously, you have the whole I can't even think right now. Jeez, so sorry. I'm just having a brain fart right now. Can you tell we don't do scripts on here? In Ultimate Custom Night, no, Infinite World. I don't know, honestly. I don't really know why would we consider. I guess it's because it's just too similar to not Ultimate Custom Night, which was very obviously placed as a sort of purgatory world for William. Just for it to be randomly like something else. But yeah, it could just be some random like spin-off game similar to how Scott did it in the meta. But I don't think it's that. I think, and this is gonna be a wild theory, but I think that back before William died, obviously, he made a game, like in between, like I want to say it was like a little bit before the bite of '83. Yeah, that makes sense. I think he made this little game called not necessarily called Fnaf World, but in this game he would have little fun adventures, little spin-off adventures, based on the original game that was there. You know, you would have Freddy in space, Fox on EXE for Bonnie. Chica would have, obviously, Chica's Magic Rainbow. And Foxy, wait, hold on, did I confuse it? No, Foxy Fighters, for Foxy. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they would, I think he would have these games. And also, he might have also added, like, a little bit of the main core Fnaf World game. That being, like, the little fight punchy thing, with the main, like, 6 characters, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Fredbear Spring Bonnie. Which might explain why Spring Bonnie is one of the most OP characters and also why they're the rarest. Maybe it's like a secret character because William loves Spring Bonnie so much, as theorists like MatPat would say. What is it? God, I can't think. Another good theory behind this is because that they're very aware that they're a game, and also I think a really fun line in Fnaf world is the very first line, where it's the fact that they don't know the name of their own town, which sounds exactly like a game that didn't like plan out the name for a town yet. So I think William had this, and that he made himself the villain. Now, the reason why I'm not currently attacking Scott on the screen right now is because this is a really crucial key point, I think it is. I think William made himself the villain, similar to how Scott made himself the villain in Fnaf World. As you can see right here in front of you in space, and as you can see in the main game for Fnaf World hard mode. It just shows that they kind of made themselves the villain, kind of as like a little like jokey joke, similar to how Scott did it. But I think when Fnaf 6 ended and everything kind of died off, the spirits and Michael kind of like decided that the spirits, I guess, more decided they wanted to stop this. They wanted to make Michael suffer, especially the one who should not have killed, presumably Cassidy, but we don't know. Now, the only way one can really do that is you kind of need something to base your hell off of. So I think Michael used Fnaf World to make a hell, using creatures both new and old based on William's sins, making him, again, the villain. Again, similar to how Scott makes himself the villain currently. And by the way, for those who don't know, the brain jar, that's Scott. So yeah, he made William the villain, obviously, and because here's the thing: no regular game would have like Jack Rabbit cards, nor would have the purple guy, especially since in Fnaf World, William just acknowledges that he isn't real. He isn't the real purple guy, which makes you think that that it's just not real. And I think that purple guy sprite is actually hold on, I'll show you real quick right after this. We can see with this that he claims to not be the real purple guy, which implies that A, he's aware that he's fake in a sense, kind of, and also that there is a real purple guy presumably somewhere here. So I think that in this old beta game, he kind of made himself the purple. He made the purple guy, which is kind of like a little fun, quirky version of himself. Right here. Don't confuse me with the actual purple guy. I'm just a game sprite. Do you know there is a secret path that leads to this graveyard from the very beginning of the game? If you don't know, we just went through there at the beginning of the video. But yeah. So he acknowledges that he's not the real purple guy, which is why I believe that, that's why I believe, personally, that, William made himself the villain, for this game, which, frankly, I think is, like, really persuading. Now, what do we get out of all of this? What does this imply? And frankly, why should you care? Well, that's a great question, dear viewer. That is a great question. In which I actually do have an answer to. The reason why, um, oh, I did not know that. The reason, dear viewer, why, he made it, well, I guess not necessarily why he made it something of a villain, but the reason behind all of this, is to make William suffer. If that's the entire goal behind this, to make William suffer, to remind him of the past, similar to how in game theory's Fnaf timeline, Henry brought the mediocre melodies back, which were apparently in MatPat's mind like really old, characters, that were then made into that were brought back into Fnaf World. Sorry, not FNAF World, into Fnaf 6, to make William reminisce and to lure him back into the pizzeria. That's a pretty good theory, and I think it's either similar or the exact same in regards of FNAF World's case. Because I feel like there's no other reason to do this, and it also shows why he didn't necessarily involve most of the sister location animatronics, because he really wanted William to reminisce as opposed to thinking about the modern times, thinking about where he is. If that makes any kind of sense. Probably doesn't. And right here, Pigu. I know, what is it? Gen Beta is going to have an absolute field day with that name. But, Purple Goon, I presume. Yeah, these purple creations, these monsters, are all made and seen after Purple Guy, because he made himself the villain. Great, I'm so glad that I probably not persuaded you. So yeah, I think, Michael made this hell for William, unintentionally, of course. And because of that, he gets to watch William suffer, both in UCN, to be physically ripped and torn apart by the creations of his past, and also mentally tortured by thinking about the past and what he's done, and how he was the beginning from the how he was the villain from the very beginning. So, again, what does this mean? What? You know what? Actually, I feel like never mind. You actually, what does this mean? What does this imply for the lore? Actually, this means that again, Michael didn't do this maliciously. He didn't necessarily want to hurt William. He just wanted to see his dad again. Frankly, kind of sad, and also explains why we never see William ever again. Not only because he's stuck in forever torment, it's also why we never see Michael again, unless you like the idea that Glamrock Freddy is Michael. Personally, I'm not too big of a fan of it. It's definitely possible, I just don't see it. And it's also why FNAF is so focused nowadays on it's why FNAF nowadays is so focused on the past, because at the end of the day, Purple Guy died. Scott killed off Purple Guy, and he's no longer to be seen because he's stuck here, having to die over and over again. And even if he beats it, he just comes back to the beginning and does it all over again, being driven to insanity, to madness, into madness. Oh, I'm so good with that. And my last piece of evidence as to why William was the villain is this guy. If you don't know, this guy is the final boss of Update 2. And his name is Purple Geist. I think this was the intended villain for FNAF World, the original one made by William. But in our version that we see, it is crossed by Chica's Magic Rainbow, as you'll see right now. There's a reason behind it, probably. I'm not necessarily sure. Frank, you're going to have... Well, that's a theory for another day, unfortunately. Yeah, there's definitely a... pretty good. I don't know. There might be a really fun joke theory about it. We might make in the future. It could be seen. No, no, that wouldn't make sense. Yeah, I guess that's just it. Um, William Afton was the villain in FNAF World. He was the intended villain, and I also think that's why he was the puppet master as well. He was the puppet master because they needed a quirky little villain in order to appeal to the audiences, to appeal to people, and to appeal to the children who were playing the games. William making the game not knowing what's to come, that being his inevitable death. But regardless. So yeah, that really sounds like it's about it. I don't really have anything else for you. I'm just gonna beat this rainbow real quick, and then... Well, actually, I could probably do the outro right now. I hope that, you either agree with me, or you just don't exist, because nobody can disagree with me. I just have the best theories. I'm kidding, of course. Any theories are allowed, and they're all super chill and valid. I'm so happy that you, listened to me yap for who knows how long, while I was, playing some FNAF World. Frankly, I'm bored. Honestly, leave a comment if you want us to do more gameplay, like, overlays, well, like, instead of, like, normal animation, like, if you want me to, like, play, like, real time as I just talk about FNAF theories. But again, please make sure to, I don't know, do the basic YouTube stuff. I don't really gain anything off of it, but, like, also it's just, like, why not? Do it because it's fun, and do it because you want to show me that you like what we produce, and that we should do more of them. I want to keep making stupid videos about Freddy and Bonnie being gay. We might eventually have a future theory that Chica is officially like a god in FNAF, more powerful than Scott. Again, that's another FNAF World theory, but it's really convincing. Honestly, and dude, like, leave a comment as to like what you want us, like, if you have like any really fun stupid theories in mind, dude, like, just leave it in the comments. I'm totally down for that. We love the support. I'm totally gonna die to this. So yeah, I hope oh dang, that's just so sad. Oof. Wild. Anyway, yeah, that's gonna be all for today. See ya.